Welcome to Strictly Sega.
G'day, folks.
Well, today we've decided to look at a... yeah, it's been a tough week.
It's been one of those weeks, I tell you what, guys.
Well, look, today we've decided to look at a bit of a light-hearted game that we've both enjoyed over time.
We're taking a step back this week, and we're doing something
are.
a little bit more simpler, a little bit more smaller, just basic, you know, for you guys.
But at the same time, this does relate back to some of the simpler games having better gameplay than some of the more complicated games that we've seen over time. So today we're going to be having a look at
Championship Pro-Am by Rare and released by Trade West.
Now, this is along the driving genre, but this game...
Racing. More of a racing genre than a driving genre, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it's picking. It's always picking.
Well, driving genre is sort of an in the car or behind the car, I've always seen. And racing genres are always something different, you know, something a bit more varied. This is a genre that's been milked and used and redone and recycled over and over again since 1974.
Yes, we're right back at the start.
Yeah, a long way back. So we plan to give you a bit of a history of how we got to this point in games and what Rare might be doing in the future. References to other games that have been made recently that are using some of this stuff that was first released on this game. So, hope you enjoy, folks. Championship Pro-Am. Championship Pro-Am, released by Trade West and developed by Rare for the Sega Megadrive, or Genesis if you live in America. It was made as a spin-off to emulate the success of Rare's release of RC Pro-Am for the NES back in 1988. But if you look further back, RC Pro-Am was a spin-off of the arcade game Super Sprint, which was actually a spin-off of Grand Track 10. So it was a pretty recycled genre. Let's go back to the start, shall we? The general level design and format you see before you is based upon a very old arcade game made in 1974 called Grand Track 10. Made by Atari, it was one of the first ever arcade machines that used a ROM. So what's so special about that, you might ask? Well, it was able to remember things, like how the car looked, track information and keeping score, not to mention the countdown timer. All things that couldn't be done with just simple boxes or collections of dots. It was still very simple, but a first for its time. So from Grand Track 10 came a lot of spin-offs due to its popularity, like Super Sprint, more similar to Pro-Am, but instead of the screen following the car, it just shows the whole track. But things like oil slicks were now there, so you could lose control of your car temporarily. Then came RC Pro-Am. Championship Pro-Am is just an upgraded version of the original RC Pro-Am that was on the NES. The NES version was hugely popular and introduced a few new things to racing games that hadn't been done before. For instance, the arrows on the track are speed boosters, as opposed to other games before that would let you pick up boosters to set off at your own leisure. These would boost you as you drove over them, a feature now commonly used in the likes of Mario Kart or Wipeout, or Rare's later release like Diddy Kong Racing on the Nintendo 64. It was also one of the first racing games to use weapons to take out other cars. Sound familiar? Also available now on Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing and Wipeout. And unlike the earlier Super Sprint, the screen would follow the car on an isometric angle, sort of like how we showed you on Sonic 3D.
On both Nintendo and Megadrive versions of the game, you are able to upgrade your car in 3 ways. Super sticky tyres, which gives you better grip, and makes it easier but confusing when you restart. Higher top speed and turbo, which raises how quickly you accelerate. Weapons are limited to missiles and bombs. Though both are close range, the missiles are shot forward and the bombs are dropped behind you. Each bomb and missile you pick up gives you 5 units and switches all the ammo you have over to what you've just picked up. The stars also give you 1 extra of what you already have. As you drive around the track, you'll notice letters on the screen. After completing the word, you are given a new car. The first upgrade is to a sports 4-wheel drive and finally to a Formula 1 car. So that's pretty easy, right? Well, when you throw in oil slicks, puddles formed by moving rain clouds and pop-up walls, it gets a little tricky. But once you get to the harder levels, if you miss any of the booster spots, then you won't do the lap at top speed and surely lose. The levels repeat themselves, but add more each time, like oil slicks, clouds and boosters to increase the pace and difficulty. One of the noticeable differences between the Megadrive and NES versions is the word Nintendo has been replaced with Championship. Other major differences between the NES and Megadrive version include enhanced 8 to 16-bit graphics. Players enter their name at the start on the Megadrive and at the end on the NES version. Megadrive has 5 opponents instead of 3, and also on the Megadrive version you are able to earn an extra continue by getting 5 straight golds.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the explanation of the gameplay and its history. Nick's been a fan of this game since I tracked it down, buying it as it was part of a pack, wasn't it? But you've actually been a fan of it longer than that.
I went back to some of the earlier copies back on the PC years ago. We're talking high school, 94, 95 sort of thing. And yeah, they were great. Loved them back then.
All the spin-offs and all the other versions of it. There was so many around. I remember there was this great one on the PC that was Ivan. Oh, we got to look that up.
Yeah,
that was a good one, right? Yeah. That was the same thing.
Look, all these games in the end just bring up memories for us. Yeah, look, all these games bring up memories for us. But this game really gets back to the fact that some of the older games have more enjoyable handling than some of the new games. And really pick this one up, have a go at it, and the sensation of speed in this is almost as good as Sega Rally, really. What do you reckon? Just how you can get up there, you know.
I don't mind it. It's okay, you know.
It's one of those games you can get really good at it.
It's
not all luck.
If you do dedicate a lot of hours to it,
you can get really good at it.
And there's a lot of levels in it too. Yeah. There's like 90 levels in the whole game or something. No, not that many, maybe 20 or 30 though. A lot of levels.
So, you know.
And it gets so fast. It does. It's very fast. It does get fast, but it's just not my type of game. Micro Machines in this, and although as much as I love that the one on the PC, didn't really get into the. I don't know. There's something about it. I prefer the one full screen view instead of following the car, I guess.
I enjoyed that too in the earlier games, I must say. So look,
call me picky. Anyway, look, we'll leave you with that this week.
We've got a little extra tidbit on the website. Have a bit of a look around for it. We decided we'd do a light episode, but we're giving you something extra on the site this week, so have a look around.
Okay, well, until then, take it easy. This has been Strictly Sega.
Take care, folks.
See you next week.